What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Welcome to another weekly forecast. Welcome back to these weekly forecast, actually, because it's been a while since I've done these. And yeah, now that I'm back on YouTube, I found that it's proper that I do them. So today is a weekly forecast. I'll be forecasting three pairs. I'll be forecasting the DXY, I'll be forecasting Gbpjpy, and I'll be forecasting Eurusd. So if you like this type of content, please smash on the like button, smash on the thingy, the subscribe button, turn on the notification to notify you every time I drop these weekly forecasts, right? So yeah, cool. I hope you guys like the black chart and the white candles. So yeah, if you don't, recommend something different. But yeah, let's jump straight to the gist of this video. So cool. We're starting on the daily time frame on DXY, right? So cool. What are we seeing on DXY on the daily time frame? We see that the DXY was bullish after it broke structure here, right? And after that, it came down, broke this low that led to this break of structure, which ended up doing what? Turning our daily time frame into a bearish market state, right? So looking deep into our internal, what do we see with our internal? We see that our internal is also bearish, right? So cool, with our internal bearish, and yeah, this is our internal, it's bearish right here after it led to what? After it led to this break of structure here, right? Cool. So cool, with that in mind, we go down to the 4-hour time frame, right? So on the 4-hour time frame, what do we see? This is how the chart looks like on the 4-hour time frame, right? We got our 4-hour break of structure here. I understand. We've got our 4-hour break of structure here, and currently we are playing within this 4-hour swing range here. This 4-hour swing range here, right? So playing within that 4-hour swing range there, and cool. Looking closely at the internal, we see that the 4-hour internal has been bearish, facilitating what? A 4-hour continuation, right? So cool, what happened here? So after this break of structure, we were within this 4-hour internal structure here, right? We got our pullback into the extreme demand zone of the 4-hour internal. Then what did price do? Price came, mitigated this extreme 4-hour internal and switched what? And switched bearish, right? So after price switched bearish, this confirms what? This confirms that the objective of the 4-hour internal pullback is over. And now we're about to get what? We're about to get a continuation. Cool. Then what happened here? It came, it went down. Then this is the important part. It failed to lead to the break of this 4-hour week low, right? So since it failed to break any significant structure, it means what? This is a weak high, because why? It failed to lead to a break of structure, right? So cool. Then this happened, we broke structure, then leading to this being our 4-hour internal strong low, right? So cool. Currently we're within this 4-hour structure, and our internal is bullish, right? So at this point, since our 4-hour is overall bearish and our internal is bullish, what does that tell us? That tells us that we are currently getting what? A 4-hour pullback, right? So cool. If I take my premium discount tool, and yeah, so if I take my premium discount tool, I see that, okay, cool, this is what happened. Price went past the equilibrium and did what? And mitigated. You could say this is a zone, you could say it's not a zone, but let me just say it's a zone, and mitigated this here, right? So now we've got our 4-hour pullback, and in our 4-hour pullback we've mitigated a significant area, a point of interest, right? So cool. After mitigating that 4-hour area, what did price do? Price started moving lower, right? Cool. Price moved lower, and yeah, now we're within. Now what's the case now? Our 4-hour is bearish, and our 4-hour internal is bullish, facilitating the 4-hour pullback. But the 4-hour, since our 4-hour internal was bullish and facilitated a 4-hour pullback, what happened? We've mitigated the 4-hour supply zone, which could result in what? The 4-hour continuation structure, right? So cool. With that in mind, we know that since we've mitigated a higher time frame POI here, what could happen? Price could just disrespect the 4-hour internal and head low, right? Or since we're at the external of the daily, which is here, we're at the external of the daily could be ready to facilitate what? A daily pullback, and price could go up there, right? We can't really tell until price gives us a proper structure, right? So if it happens that I see price starting to creep up aggressively, then I'll say, what? Okay, cool. Maybe price might be willing to come and retest in higher supply zones here. Or we could expect price to fully disrespect this internal structure, because it has already fulfilled its objective by mitigating the what? The flow, the 4-hour supply, right? So cool. For now, it could be either two scenarios. We could get the 4-hour continuation, or we could get higher prices in order to mitigate this, like higher supply zones, or a full-on pullback, a full-on daily pullback. For now, we're just gonna wait for price to give us clear structure, right? Cool. Moving down to Gbpjpy. We'll start on the daily time frame. So Gbpjpy has been bullish for quite a long time now, right? We can see that we've been getting a series of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, understand? And after this break of structure here, which is our last break of structure, we're within this daily swing range here, right? We're within that daily swing range there, and since we're within this daily swing range here, price gave us what? Gave us a daily pullback, mitigated our daily extreme demand zone. Then after mitigating our daily extreme demand zone, knowing that overall in the daily time frame we're bullish, now that we've mitigated extreme daily demand zone, the objective has been fulfilled, right? And price, what did price do? Price switched bullish to show what? That okay, cool, our pullback is over. Now we're looking what? Now we're looking to facilitate our continuation, our daily continuation, right? So cool, it mitigated extreme daily demand zone and did what? And switched bullish, right? Cool. So here, this is where not subjectivity, but then, yeah, this is where people might differ, right? I count this as a pullback. Some people, I've seen some YouTubers and some analysis don't count this as a pullback, but I do count it as a pullback. So cool, our internal of the daily switched bullish to facilitate what? A continuation, but price came down, closed below this, and I consider this to, okay, cool, now we're bearish. Now the daily internal, which I consider as my 4-hour actually, is bearish, right? It's bearish. It became bearish until it mitigated this daily daily internal demand zone. After mitigating that daily internal demand zone, it led to this break of structure, to the break of this strong high, which led to this break, right? After we broke here, price did what? price turned bullish, right? Our daily internal, which I consider as my 4-hour, what, turned bullish, right? So cool. Since my daily internal is bullish, right? Okay, cool. My daily internal is this, which is my 4-hour. It's bullish, right? Going down to our 4-hour time frame. So cool. This is my 4-hour time frame, right? This is my 4-hour time frame. What am I seeing here? I see that cool. The 4-hour is overall bearish, right? The 4-hour is overall bearish after we broke this high here. Right? So looking closely at my 4-hour run, what am I seeing? I'm seeing that my 4-hour internal has been bullish, right? Up until this point here. My 4-hour run has been bullish up until this point here. What happened here? It led to a break of structure, my 4-hour internal. It led to a break of structure. It came down, giving us a pullback. It swept this high here, right? It swept that high there and started doing what? And broke the low that swept this high, right? Which is a weak low because why? It failed to close above it, right? So cool. After it swept that high, it switched bearish, and after my 4-hour internal swept this high, it switched bearish, right? Showing that what? Cool. My 4-hour my 4-hour internal might be ready to do what? To facilitate my 4-hour overall pullback, right? Like it could be ready to facilitate what? The pullback of this overall 4-hour structure, right? So cool. I bring up my premium discount tool to see potential areas that my 4-hour could be targeting, right? And cool. This was my 50%, right? And here, this is what I see looking at this. This is what I see looking at this. I'm seeing that, okay, cool. Since my internal is now bearish, facilitating the what? The 4-hour pullback. This is the overall structure here, right? This is the overall 4-hour internal structure here after this break of structure here, right? And price did what? Price crept up until my 4-hour internal extreme demand zone, which led to this sweep of liquidity here, right? You could argue that, okay, cool, price doesn't have liquidity, price doesn't have any inducement here, so the most likely liquidity is up here. Cool, you can look at it like that, but then from my experience in the market, right, when price swept liquidity, when the supply or demand zone was created after a sweep, it means there is no more liquidity above this high, right? There is no more liquidity because the liquidity is already swept. Right? So cool. So this extreme supply zone to me is a high probability extreme zone because why? It swept liquidity and price crept up into it, and I'm expecting for price this coming week to give us a confirmation on the lower time frame that, okay, cool, now it's about to facilitate what? A continuation targeting what? This week low, which failed to break this high, right? Cool. This doesn't mean that it's gonna do that. It's just a likelihood of it happening over breaking this high. If price breaks this high, cool, which means my thesis was wrong, right? But plus still, I'm expecting price to head lower to like the two discount areas, right? So yeah, guys, so moving on to Euro USD. Euro USD, I start on the daily time frame as well, right? The daily time frame, what are we seeing on Euro USD? This is what we're seeing on the daily time frame. This is what we're seeing. The overall daily, we broke structure here, right? So our daily structure, we're currently playing within the swing range here, within this daily swing range here, right? So within that daily swing range here, looking at our internal, this is how our internal has been moving, right? So currently we're playing within this daily internal, which I consider as my 4-hour structure, right? So currently we're playing within this daily internal, and we've been getting a daily internal pullback, or a 4-hour pullback, right? Moving lower to the 4-hour time frame, what are we seeing, right? We see that overall we're within this 4-hour time frame here, right? We're within this 4-hour time frame swing range here, right? Which led to what? After we got this break of structure here, right? We confirmed that okay, cool, we're within this 4-hour swing range there. And what did price do? Price creeped down, or price did what? For 4-hour internal, we were within this 4-hour internal here, right? Price gave us a 4-hour internal pullback, and after mitigating something to the left, it gave us what? It switched bullish, showing what? That the 4-hour internal is done facilitating its pullback, and now it's ready for its continuation, right? So price went up and then switched bearish again to show what? That okay, cool, this low failed to break structure. Now this low is about to be a liquidity low / a weak low, right? So we broke that structure here, we broke that weak low here, which failed to lead to the breaks of that high there. Now we're within this swing range here, right? So within that swing range, facilitating potentially what? Our 4-hour pullback, right? So on our 4-hour, I pull my premium discount to see where price might target, right? I see that okay, cool, it could be possible that our 4-hour had already met its rule. Our 4-hour pullback had already met its potential target, which is this demand zone, and now our 4-hour internal is still the one that's kind of lagging behind, right? So our daily is bullish, overall bullish. Our daily internal, which is our 4-hour, is overall bullish as well, right? The overall 4-hour is bullish, and moving down to the 4-hour time frame, the 4-hour time frame is overall bullish, but the 4-hour internal is bearish, facilitating what? The 4-hour pullback, right? We've mitigated a zone that is well priced in discount, which could lead to, and we've started seeing higher prices / for our continuation. Understand? So yeah, for this week, I'm just waiting to see that is price going to respect this 4-hour internal structure here, or is it going to respect the overall objective of this 4-hour structure here, right? So for the coming week, I'm just waiting for price to tell me its story here, right? Then for the coming week on GJ, the overall structure on the daily time frame for GJ is overall what? Bullish. The daily internal for GJ is bullish as well. You understand? So the daily internal being our 4-hour is bullish as well. On our 4-hour time frame, my 4-hour time frame is bullish. My 4-hour internal is bearish. So ultimately, I'm waiting for price to target this low on the 4-hour internal for the coming week. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for meeting me on the charts, and yeah, I hope you gained some value from this whole video, this whole market forecast video. Thank you so much. Catch you guys next week. One love.